Welcome back to Football Heritage TV Plus, better known as FHTV Plus. Today we're talking about one of my players for my club, Christian Romero. He is back. According to all sorts of reports and sources and training ground footage, Christian Romero is back training with the Tottenham Hotspur team. Now, I don't know whether or not that means he's going to be fit enough to play tonight's game against Man City, but he is back in the squad. Now, this is the interesting thing about Christian Romero. He splits opinion, should we say. He divides opinion. Now, we're going to have a look at Christian Romero today and why I've said this. I've said in the title, Romero is back. Shocking coincidence. Now, most people will know what I'm talking about. If you don't, and you haven't put two and two together yet, let me tell you. There is no coincidence that Argentina are due to play a couple of games in the next few weeks, and that has coincided with Christian Romero magically being fit again for Tottenham Hotspur. And this is becoming a bit of a trend. This is becoming a bit of a pattern, isn't it? That Christian Romero always seems to be injured, suspended, something's not right with him. He's not in form, and then suddenly Argentina games roll around and Christian Romero's fit again. Now, call me cynical. I don't care. Call me cynical. This seems to be an ever-evolving pattern with this player. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, he causes a lot of divide in terms of there's a lot of people that think Romero is a world-class top centre-back. He's won the World Cup. Sure, many people have won the World Cup. It doesn't make them all world-class. Now, I've always had the same stance on Christian Romero. I think he's a good centre-back. I think he is massively overrated by the Tottenham Hotspur fans. Massively overrated. Top centre-halves. One, aren't as rash as him. Two, their positional sense is much better. Three, they're better in the air. And four, their leadership skills are better. But we'll get back to Romero, the player, in a minute, because a lot of people love this guy. And, oh, my gosh, what will we do if Romero leaves? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll actually get someone in who's fit and available to play. Now, that doesn't mean he won't come back into the Spurs team and do well. But how can you rely on a player that's never available? How can you rely on a player that always puts country over club? Now, for me, I don't think you should be putting either over either. For me, if you're fit, get back fit to play, right? But it feels very much like he's always that bit quicker getting fit when Argentina are about to play some games. And that tells me a lot about the man and the character. Now, we'll get back to that in a second, but I saw some statistics yesterday where Christian Romero, who, if we have a look here, let's have a look. So Christian Romero, so this will be his 4th season at Tottenham Hotspur. And you could see here, he's only made 30-plus league appearances once. In his first season, he managed 22, so just over half a season. In his second season, 27, so missed 11 Premier League games. Last season was better, only missed 5. This season, he's missed loads. He's only played 12 out of a possible 26. So already this season, he's missed 14 Premier League games. When you start to add that up, and I'll do the math for you, by the way, if you chuck in the Champions League, the Europa League, the League Cup, the FA Cup as well, it means that Christian Romero may have played 112 times, as you can see there for Tottenham Hotspur. He's only played 61% of all Spurs games available in a 4-year period. So he's played 61%. So just to break that down for ease, it means that every 10 games of football Spurs play, this guy misses 4. Now, add that up over the season. Now, tell me, how can you build a team around a centre-back that is never fit? Now, we won't talk too much about Van de Ven in this video, but Van de Ven, by the way, in his just coming up to 2 years at Spurs, has only been available for 51% of all games. So between the two of them, no one's fit. They're not fit. Yet the Spurs fans, the narrative is always when Romero and Van der Ven are back. Well, how often are they back? They miss so many games. And at what point do you look at this and say, we can't build around this? We can't build a team around one centre half that's always fit for his country but doesn't seem to be for his club, and the other one whose hamstrings we have ruined. I believe it's 4 hamstring injuries in the last 2 years if you include the back end of Wolfsburg for Mickey van der Ven. So you're looking at this, and when I suggest, right, we need a better centre-back pairing from availability, from wanting to play for Tottenham, I get scoffed at. Oh, God, you don't realise how good they are. It's not about their ability. It's about their availability. They're never available. And the thing with Romero is, I've heard all season, oh, he's just having a bad year. Well, for me, across the last 4 years, I think he's been very much like that with his form. I've heard every excuse under the sun. Oh, but it's Nuno's tactics. Oh, but it's Conte's tactics. Now it's Ange's tactics. It's always somebody else's tactics to why he's not performing at that level that fans rave about him. For example, the he's better than Saliba, he's better than Gabriel conversation. I don't see him performing to the high level week in, week out that those two do. I really don't. And yes, we're frail in the midfield and we let people run at our defence, but top defenders are positionally savvy. They're positionally savvy, aren't they? They're not always having to lunge in. They're not always having to run into midfield to get the ball. So for me, I'm looking at Romero and I look at the Argentina thing. I look at the injury aspect. I look at how good is he? And I just sit there and think, A, how is this guy an assistant captain at Tottenham? And B, how do you plan and how do you build around this guy? 61% of Spurs games he's available for in 4 years. Now, just to bring that stat to life, and of course, this is going to be skewed because Argentina don't play as many games as Spurs. During the 4 years that Christian Romero's been at Tottenham Hotspur, he's been available for 86% of Argentina games. So with Spurs, it's 61%. With Argentina, he's available for 86% of games. Now, what does that tell you? Yes, the sample size for Spurs is going to be that versus that for Argentina. But is it a coincidence? Is it strange that suddenly he's come back? Because this guy, you know, notwithstanding a 15-minute cameo against Chelsea, this guy hasn't played for Spurs since Ipswich Town on the 10th of November. So the 10th of November. So we're nearly going back 4 months. If you look at all of November, December, January, February, he's missed nearly 4 months of football. And at first we were told he'd be back, and he came back for 15 minutes against Chelsea, which, don't get me started on Ange playing him and Van der Ven together. That was just really silly management. But he starts, picks up a new injury, and people go, oh, it's okay, it's a different injury. Well, sports science and common sense tells you if you are playing and you're not 100% fit, you overcompensate on different muscles and bones in your body, and you're susceptible to new injuries. And that's what happened with Romero. Then we heard 20th of January he's going to be back. Then it was moved to the 23rd. Then it was moved to the 27th. And we're sitting here now the 26th of February. And this man is still not in the team. And yet people pine for him. They thirst over this guy. When Romero's back, Romero was in the team when we couldn't beat Leicester. Romero was in the team when we couldn't beat Ipswich, when we couldn't beat Palace. Romero was in the team when we were 2-0 up against Brighton and lost. Romero was in the team when we lost to Newcastle away, and he kept making mistakes as Newcastle beat us 2-1. It's the revisionism. But anyway, we'll get to that another time. So I want to know, what do you think? The 3 questions are: 1, is it a coincidence that Christian Romero is always coming back fit when Argentina are playing? 2, can you build a team around someone who's not available like this? Can this be your main centre-back when he's not ever available for games of football? and free. How good is Christian Romero? And I want to hear from Spurs fans and non-Spurs fans. I want to hear from football fans in general, because I know what I'm going to get probably from Spurs fans. So you non-Spurs fans, how much do you rate Christian Romero? Let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching the video. Please smash a like button on your way out. Please subscribe to the channel, and thank you for all your help. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.